Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I am doing the Summer Lovin' book tag. So this was a book tag that was created by Heather over at Bookables that is in celebration of summer and summer things, and although it is now getting to the end of summer with August already here and in the process of, I still wanted to do this tag because summer is one of my more favorite seasons. I really do prefer the warmth over the cold of winter that we get here in Michigan, and I love too that it's partially also inspired by, the idea of Greece with, if you see Heather's video, she makes like a little bit of a reference to Grease, which is one of my more favorite musicals. So yeah, love everything about this tag. Can't wait to get started. Let's get into the questions. So the first question is Sand in Your Toes, a book that's perfect to read on the beach. I don't necessarily have a perfect beach read because I'm not somebody who tends to read in like a certain mood during a season. The only thing I can really think of to add to this one though would be The Hating Game, because of the fact that it's a romance, it's fun, it's crazy, and it's also like a really fast read. So I feel like that, especially if I had like the audiobook in, I would probably spend an entire day at a beach just listening to this and enjoying the crap out of it, because this is one of my favorite romances of all time. So I feel like that this would be perfect for me to take on the beach. Question is Summer Thunderstorm, a book that truly spooked you. Can't say the last time a book has really like made me scared. I don't get scared very easily. I do think that I get a little squeamish at times when it comes to reading like horror, for instance, but the last book that I think really like made me uncomfortable to the point where it was almost really spooky was The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This was like way creepier than I had expected it to be, and the way the things happen to each of the characters in this is like terrifying because of the fact that like it plays on native myth and native folklore and the idea of spirits coming back, especially when you've done something done wrong to them. Like, it's a little terrifying. It had a lot of really spooky scenes and things that just kind of seemed like it couldn't possibly be happening, and yet it was happening. And so like that, I think, would be the closest thing I could think of that was really spooky, but it was really just more so like unnerving, I guess. Question 3 is Heating Up, a book that was seriously steamy. Oh boy, the last book that I read that was very steamy was A Court of Frost and Starlight. The day that I'm recording this, I just finished this yesterday. So, I mean, anything to do with Feyre and Rhysand is gonna be steamy, and I love it. Very well done smut scenes, in my opinion. Question 4 is Rained Out, a book that you were anticipating but was let down immensely. The last book I read that really disappointed me was actually a DNF I had in July, which was Specialty Topics in Calamity Physics by Marisha Pessl. This was a book I was supposed to read for the Royally Booked Book Club with Princess at Castle Library, and I was really hoping to love this because I had loved Marisha Pessl's Night Film immensely. But this book was just, from the first 50 pages, I didn't really know what the heck was going on. The dad that was being talked about in this book was seeming almost like borderline pedophiliac, it felt like, or it was just that level of uncomfortable that I felt with this dad. Like, I don't know, something about this just didn't sit well with me to the point where I just DNF'd it after about 50 pages because I just did not seem to get any idea of what this was supposed to be about, and I just felt uncomfortable. And I don't like it when books make me feel uncomfortable when it's not a warranted thing. Like, there's a difference between being uncomfortable because the subject matter is touching on very uncomfortable topics and you have to learn from it, and then there's also being uncomfortable with no real reasoning, as to why you should be feeling uncomfortable when reading this. It just was really strange. I didn't like it, and I was honestly let down a lot because of the fact that I was really hoping to enjoy this with the fact that it was a Marisha Pessl book, and I really liked, like I said, Night Film. 5 is Vacay Mode, a book that features a vacation. I don't really think I read a lot of books that have a vacation. I feel like most books that do are either slasher books or are contemporary books that I don't really like already because of like the fact that they are really juvenile and the characters don't make any sense and they're doing really dumb things for dumb reasons. So I can't really think of something that off the top of my head that would count for this The closest, though, I could probably think of would be, I think, The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I mean, it has been a hot minute since I've read this. I read this back when I was in college, and I really enjoyed it, and there was this kind of lead up to, I think, a vacation with all these friends, and there was this big thing that happened between all of them that kind of almost ruined the vacation or whatever, but this one I think had something to do with that. So, and I really did enjoy this when I read it. It's just been a very long time since I have read it, so I don't remember everything about it. Question 6 is Road Trip, a book that's all about a road trip. Again, I don't think I've read many books that involve singularly a road trip as like the main plot. I think that there are road trips that are found in books, but I don't think that I've ever really read a book that was just solely about a road trip, so I don't really have an answer for this one. Question 7 is Amusement Park, a book that felt like a roller coaster. Oh my god, A Court of Wings and Ruin was a roller coaster. Like, there were so many points where I was crying because I was scared of what was going to happen to some of my favorite characters. There were some of them that looked like they might be dying, and some of them that weren't, but, you know, or that were coming back or whatever. Like, that was a ride. That was really a ride, like, and I loved it so much, but that, like, was the most emotional I've felt from a book in a long time. Like, I have not cried nearly as much in a book as I have with that one, and I would then say, to second that, A Court of Mist and Fury was, like, right there with it. Like, those books were just wow. Question 8 is Ice Cream, a book that was deliciously sweet. I think the last book I thought that was really, really sweet was Bedazzled by Ryan LaSala. This is a young adult contemporary that focuses on a character who is trying to be a really big cosplayer. He's trying to get into the cosplaying world and basically get to a point where he's able to obtain money from different kinds of sponsorships and stuff like that, and he gets involved in a competition that happens at this one convention every year, and you find out that his ex-boyfriend is competing against him, and it's a story of looking at that current timeline, which was about 4 or so months after they had initially broken up, and then you look at the timeline of when those two meet and their relationship leading up to their ultimate breakup and what kind of led to that. And so I really enjoyed this. I found it to be incredibly heartwarming and was a 5 out of 5 star for me because the entire time I was engaged, I was entertained, I felt like I really got to love the main character throughout this, and I just honestly felt the love that was put into this book about being a cosplayer and being involved in the cosplay community and everything. Like, it really felt like a love story to cosplaying in general, which I really appreciated because while I am not a cosplayer myself, I've always kind of wanted to do that, and I feel like this just is a great way for people to understand what the point of cosplaying is for the people who create the costumes that they go to conventions in, because like there's plenty of people who don't know why people do things like cosplay, why people want to dress up all the time in costumes as opposed to just doing it around like Halloween. But this book, I think, really exemplifies the reasons why people get into doing things like cosplay, because it's definitely something that is not necessarily like a lifestyle per se, but it is a way of life in the sense that like it becomes all-consuming, and it is something that is looked at as kind of an escape for a lot of people from their day-to-day issues and day-to-day life. Next question is Sunrises and Sunsets, a book that has a sunrise sunset on the cover or similar colors. Right immediately in front of me, that has nothing to do with this video or anything, Descender Volume 3. This is what I'm working on right now. So it's got like all the orange and, you know, other colors I think that you could see within a sunrise or a sunset. So, and then on the back it's got like pinks and white and oranges and black, and yeah, there we go. And the last question is Long Days, the longest book you've read this year. I think that one is probably going to be one of my Wheel of Time books, I think, because I'm pretty sure that at least one of them is over 1,000 pages. And I think that might be the longest book I've read this year. I'm sure it's one of those because I've read a lot of like 600 to 800 page books, but I do believe that this year I've read at least 800 pages, which I'm fairly certain is in one of the Wheel of Time books. So I don't remember which one off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's one of them. That is all I have for this tag. I will leave the original video down in the description for you guys, as well as the questions if you would like to do this. I'm going to be tagging Bree from Bree Cherie Reads and Brandy from Books with Brandy Shanae for this, as well as Paco from Bad Witch Book. Let me know what you guys ended up picking for these answers yourselves if you would like to down in the comments below. And yeah, I just really liked doing this tag. I wasn't tagged by anybody to do this, but I just really wanted to do it because it sounded like a fun one, and it's a fairly new tag, so hopefully it'll get some traction here. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!